caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy by the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. And get you out of my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. Toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy by the light. It's got me hypnotized.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. Run my own way to get there. Fools are calling that the I seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me the storm is coming, for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Now that I need you anyway. I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks, I'll beat it down. I press the lens just to take you. Don't lead the way, don't leave the stay. Then I drown with a just play in the rain. I feel like I am in misery.
Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in misery.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Taking Over. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries, and as always, joined by Hollywood Astrid, the natural, the Nastral, the queen of our local establishment, and all the fun nicknames that she absolutely adores and doesn't hate at all. Ash Bazaar.
Yeah, sure.
STG's on time. Millie's jamming to the intro songs while she waits because she was early. It's fantastic. We'll get to him, but yes, it is indeed us. We'll talk more about Lexus King in a bit.
Yeah.
Nathan got his wish. He's thanking Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I didn't think it was necessary, but let's go ahead and talk about it because there's been a few things that that have happened in the past few days for NXT. So let's start with last week, where we found out that LFG is getting off the ground and Evolve is coming to Tubi. Both of these things are going to be kind of similar in a way. LFG looks to be a bit like Tough Enough, a bit like that show that they had on Roku that nobody watched. Remember that show where that douchebag that keeps coming out and hitting on all the women was? He came from that show.
Okay.
So, I mean, it seems like it's going to be a mix of those. That seems to be what LFG is going to be. Legends and Future Greats, I believe, is what the name of the show is. And that will be on, I believe, Sundays on A&E. It'll be in that block with Rivals and the show where Mick Foley goes and finds memorabilia. I believe that's the Sunday block that A&E has got with WWE. That's fine. Move that to the side. Nobody cares about any of that. Evolve. I'm actually very interested in Evolve. WWE Evolve is being apparently booked by Shawn Michaels and Gabe Sapolsky, who ran Evolve when it was his own independent promotion, but has been heavily involved with WWE over the past few years. And he's also... Exactly. He's one of the forefronts with William Regal because Gabe Sapolsky has always been one to try to help independent talent get to the next level, wherever that was, whether it was working in New Japan, whether it was working in England, whether it was working in Japan in period, whether it was working in WWE. Gabe Sapolsky was the right-hand man of Paul Heyman for a long time. And he ran Evolve, which is basically what GCW is now. What GCW is and what GCW is doing is kind of what Evolve was before independent wrestling really made its forefront into being that big next thing. I will probably cover Evolve on my own channel by myself because I don't think anybody else is going to want to watch it with me. Starting in March, I do plan to, because I looked and the WWE ID talent are all over the marketing for this. How do I know? Because I saw my man Ricky Smokes in there. So it is definitely going to be fun. It is definitely going to be interesting. I am looking forward to Evolve. We've seen a glimpse of some of the talent that are going to be a part of this show. Joe Coffey is down at Evolve. That can't be a good thing. Any of the talent that isn't WWE ID or Performance Center talent on that show, I don't think it's a good thing that you're on it.
I don't know.
We also had the Royal Rumble, which had 1/6 of the female Rumble comprised of NXT talent. Roxanne Perez lasted 67 minutes and 47 seconds to become the longest ever woman to last in a Royal Rumble.
Yes.
She was the unlikely runner-up to the Queen Charlotte Flair, who we'll talk about in a bit. Yes, Hollywood Ashford is indeed fangirl.
Happy for her.
It needs to be fun. But the Rumbles are fun.
No.
We also had in order Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Stephanie Vaquer, and the NXT Women's Champion Giulia. There was a lot of fun to be had in this Women's Rumble. I think it was match of the night, to be honest with you. I think it was, as I said on Sunday, it was more well booked in terms of start to finish booking wise than the Men's Rumble. However, the Men's Rumble was by far a better story told throughout the actual match. Because while the Women's Rumble kind of sort of delved into the stories, it was more well booked from a 1 to 30 perspective. 1 to 29, skip 30, go to the end.
I feel like with the women's too, I feel like I have more time to breathe because I feel like a lot of girls end up getting eliminated pretty quickly, and it took a while before that actually happened. And I think the person that I saw that had probably the least amount of time in the Rumble was probably Maxine, and she was there, I would say less than 5 minutes. But I like that it had its it's time to breathe. There was little, and not only that, but I like there was little stories happening here, little moments here and there that you can say, oh, I like all the black women were together and like looking at each other, and then you had Bayley and Charlotte looking at the future of the company from across the ring as well. So it's like there were so many like memorable moments within the Rumble itself with ladies that I just love seeing it all together. And yeah, I actually, for those of you that didn't watch WCW last night, I actually went to a watch party that wrestling store was hosting in the area. So it was the first time that I got to actually spend time with actual like wrestling fans in real life. So it definitely felt different in that aspect from just like the online chatter that I'm usually like used to. And to see the reactions that most of the ladies got for the Rumble here was really amazing. I feel like most of them got a reaction of some sort of way from everybody in that room. And it was nice. I think there was moments like, for example, like an Ivy or even with Jada that people didn't recognize the theme song, but once they saw their faces, they were cheering about it. But it was really fun just seeing the reactions that all the girls got for all the moments. And I feel like one of them that really stands out was really Chelsea Green in this match. I feel like she was one of my favorite people in this match, and I'm glad she was there for quite a while too. You're muted.
Her getting involved in that little moment with the four black ladies was absolutely hysterical. And it's the kind of thing that, you know, she went up to Bianca, was like, hey, I have this idea. And Bianca's like, yes, we're doing that. One, it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And two, we wanted to do the other thing.
Yeah.
Yes, Hollywood actually being social in real life.
Yeah, I tried.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, if you've got a crow about somebody, I guess Chelsea Green's okay. I mean, I have John Cena, so I have much better, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so the Rumble was great. At least 5 out of the 30 competitors were identified as NXT talent. Jordan Grace is to be determined where she ends up. People seem to think she's ending up in NXT. I think she's going straight to the main roster. So
about that. Yeah.
the match where no one recognizes any of the themes, no matter how much they hear them. You know what?
Yeah.
I did really good with most of the wrestling themes until Michin. I had no clue who Michin was.
For me, it was Ivy. I'm used to Chad Gable's music, so when she like her music came, I was like, "What the heck is this?" And Jada, just because her theme is kind of newish too, so I'm still not used to it. So those were the only two I went, "Who the heck is this?" And it took me that moment to realize who it was. But again, I was like, I'm glad that the girls had this moment, and I'm glad that I see more people talking about the girls one than the guys one in that aspect. So it was really fun.
Yeah, I couldn't for the life of me tell you. When that theme music hit, I was like, must be a TNA person. Don't know this music. And then Michin walks out. I'm like, oh, I know you. That's sad.
Yeah, and we believe.
And we did believe in Joe Hendry. We did. You know what, though? I give it up to Sheamus. Sheamus really believed because he got in Roman Reigns' face. And he was like, I was having fun watching that. Why did you ruin it? Which is the greatest thing of all time. I know you guys are probably going to cover this, but do you feel Joe Hendry got done dirty by only being in the match for literally a minute or two?
I feel like he wasn't, and that is obviously just my opinion, but I don't feel like he was because I not only was he a surprise already because a lot of people maybe thought that he would show up and then they weren't sure, but not only him showing up, he's the first male wrestler from TNA to do the Rumble because we already had Mickey James and Jordan. There was no guy that had done it before. Came out as world champion, so that's what the timing was great about him winning the championship now too. And the fact that I feel like he came in, and even though he was there for a little time, he took advantage of the time he was given, of having that moment to like really show it out and even get the crowd going with like the clapping and the timing. I love how Sheamus is just in the corner, like hanging his hands from the ropes and just like, the fella's got it. What is this? This is fun. So no, I think he took advantage of the time he was given. So it was fun. It was nice.
And he got eliminated by Roman Reigns, which at least gives it a little bit of a panache to your elimination. I get eliminated by the guy who held the title for 4,800 and some odd days.
Yeah, at least we saw standing ovation before he left, and that was great too.
Yeah, we got, like I said, I don't think he got done dirty, but I saw some people saying that they thought Joe Hendry might have gotten done a little dirty by just being in there for literally a minute or two, getting his shtick in. But I'm like, isn't that what Joe Hendry's really all about? Get the shtick in, get out.
No, and take advantage of the time you're given, and he really did that.
And again, 70,000 people, as we talked about on Discord when I was finally watching the Rumble later on, like with Motor City Machine Guns. That's the biggest crowd he's ever been in front of.
Yeah.
70,000 people is a major crowd for somebody like Joe Hendry. So, and he got the pop. The people knew who he was. The people knew what they were doing. They were excited. Which is really all you can ask for with a surprise like that. So I'm happy for Hendry. I'm happy he got his moment. On the flip side of being happy for people, Duke Hudson is no longer with NXT. Duke Hudson was apparently released at the end of January. That doesn't bode well for Thea Hale. That doesn't bode well for Riley Osborne. But to Duke, we wish you all, Brendan Vink, we wish you well in your future endeavors. We grew to love you, even though we hated you most of the time.
Yeah.
Justice for Duke. I asked Mia what it was like knowing she'd be in the ring right before Alexa returned. At least it wasn't right after Alexa returned, because that's always a death spot when you do the next spot after somebody like that. Yeah, Joe Hendry wished himself into the Royal Rumble, and he did it. Talking more about the Rumble, I'm still tripping that Roman was doing tag moves. Like, Roman Reigns did a lot of good things for a lot of other people in that Royal Rumble. Like, he let a lot of people that don't belong beat him up. He had fun with Penta. He let Seth do the double foot stomp. That double foot stomp was nasty.
It was amazing.
I mean, it wasn't amazing. It was just nasty.
It was amazing for me.
Yes, that's because you slurp up everything that Seth Rollins does. You treat Seth Rollins like Mark treats Gunther.
Hey, at least it's deserved. So. Hey, he's a better champion than Gunther. Come at me. I don't care.
I mean, everybody's a better champion than Gunther. Gunther sucks.
Yeah,
Hot take. I think Gunther is the most underwhelming champion that WWE has had since Jack Swagger or Jinder Mahal.
Dang.
World champion, I should say.
That's true.
Yeah. I said what I said. I'm going to get some heat for that one, but I said what I said.
At least you won't be in the HR office. You're fine.
I might. No, I'll just be in Mark's HR office. I mean, here it is. A lot of people here really seem to like it. No, I don't think he's been booked well either, but I just don't also find him entertaining either. Anyways, we're now 20 minutes into the show. We haven't talked one thing about the actual NXT show tonight. Guess what? There's a reason for that. This show sucked.
It was okay.
Mark is the last person who should be talking HR. This is indeed true. We opened the night with Stephanie Vaquer versus Jacy Jayne. This was the best match we got all night. It was a very low bar. Yes. Get the haterade. Indeed, get the haterade. There were some things on this show that I liked. Wasn't a lot of it. There were a couple things. This match is indeed one of them. I thought these two had great chemistry. I thought Jacy Jayne showed up and showed out tonight. I think she looked fantastic. I think Stephanie made her look great. I think she made Stephanie look like a badass. I loved the near falls towards the end of the match because I bit on pretty much all of them. I bit on Jacy Jayne beating Stephanie. I bit on Stephanie beating her with that roll up. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I bit on in this match. Stephanie gets the big win. No real surprise there. She's headed to Vengeance Day to take on Fallon Henley. This was good. I really enjoyed this match. What about you?
I would say it's not the match itself, but one thing I hated, I think it was Booker, if I'm not mistaken. He'd said that
Typically, it's Booker.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's definitely the answer. He said at one point along the lines of, "Oh, her versus Fallon Henley is Stephanie's biggest match in her career."
Yeah. That's a bold statement from Booker T.
I'm sorry, I love NXT and all, but you're telling me her being like New Japan Strong Women's Champion and being like the match with Mercedes was like lesser than this? No,
I
I'm
mean, the one
sorry.
with Mercedes is. The one with Giulia
No,
probably wasn't.
Either way, how could you say this is like the best, basically the best match in her career, like the best thing? What? No, disagree so much on that. But no, this was fun. They really did have chemistry. I did like the superplex and the springboard crossbody that she did to her as well. And again, we do have the fact that we had Jazmyn as a distraction here. But I think it's ironic that having Jacy in the ring, Fallon never went to help her, only Jazmyn did. And then when Stephanie does her finisher, when she does it, and she's pinning Jacy, she's doing it while looking at Fallon the whole time. And I love that, that part there exactly. And then when they show off where Fallon is, she's by commentary raising her title, and I went, "You not even close to what was happening." She wasn't even close to that. But
So
again,
I can answer this question. I can answer this question. Why was it not a DQ? Because she didn't I mean, because the faction people can't DQ each other, I guess is the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's because technically Jazmyn hit Jacy. She didn't hit Stephanie. She had hit Stephanie. It would have been a DQ.
Which is why commentary was quickly on referee's discretion. She was trying to hit Stephanie. She missed. We're just gonna let it go because she hurt her own person. We don't give a damn.
Yeah, which is the irony of it. But yeah, overall, I feel like it was a fun match.
Yes, Stephanie was indeed a double champion in CMLL. I remember because when she decided to go work those WWE shows that weekend, and she basically just handed the titles over and quit, CMLL was very angry and had to put together a scrap match in a heartbeat.
I think she was basically like the world champion and the tag team champion, if I'm not mistaken. But and then again, I was thinking of that plus the New Japan. So how do you say that this is Stephanie's biggest match in her career?
Because Booker T doesn't realize there's other things that go on. That's why. Because it's
like,
Booker T.
Did her career just start yesterday? I don't think so.
Yes, you got to remember, everything you do in WWE is mountains better than anything you do anywhere else. So even your worst match on WWE is better than anything you've done worldwide. That makes sense.
I know it's kind of weird sometimes.
Oh, the Ogre Lord is here. Hello, Bobby. I mean, I don't know what that's about, but he's probably right. It probably was wrong.
Very Delulu. He's on the Lulu Island at this point.
In his Cthulhu? What the hell's a Cthulhu? I think this is something from a Monday night show that I've obviously missed, so we're just going to keep going. Here we go. Oh, the show's off the rails already.
Oh, my God.
All right. I liked and hated this next segment. Zaria comes up to Lash legend Jakara Jackson and starts giving them a hard time about well, more specifically, she gives Lash a hard time for them losing the tag team title match last weekend, and then for not eliminating anybody in the Royal Rumble. To which Lash has the greatest comeback. Yes, it must have been great for you to be able to say all this to me while you sat on your couch and did nothing.
No, while you sat on your couch and you watched me basically do this, I went, yes, great comeback. I love it.
This whole time, Ruca is trying to stop whatever's going on here. Zaria turned heel like just randomly in a backstage promo, I guess, because like granted, we need Zaria to turn heel, but at the same time, what the fuck was this? Like, why did last week they were praising them? Come on, bring back the NXT, bring back the women's tag team titles to NXT. This week, y'all suck. You didn't do what I needed you to do. Like,
No.
excuse you?
I was like, did you get a title shot? Did you work your butt off to get that title shot?
I'm starting to think like, you know, those memes that they had of like all the NXT women's debuts, and it's like Giulia, NXT women's champion, Stephanie, North American women's championship title match, Zaria, bottom of the ocean. It may not have been as over an exaggeration as I thought it was.
I did like more here Soul's character work because she's like exactly behind her. She's like, no, stop it. No, don't do it. Stop it.
We then get Chemical X piping up and getting their little barbs in. And Zaria walks off. Soul follows her to try to figure out what the fuck's going on. And Lash says, y'all figure out y'all issues. We'll take whoever wins. So maybe I'm drinking your haterade yet because I'm having some... You know, the haterade is welcome for everybody. I have enough haterade to share. We get an Obafemi interview where Obafemi says that while Ava may run everything outside of the ring, don't forget that he runs everything inside of the ring. When asked about A-Town Down Under, he says that he's going to prove to them why they don't belong anywhere near him. And then when asked about what he owes to Trick Williams, his answer is very simple and sweet. I don't owe Trick Williams anything. And he politely excuses himself, grabs his championship, and walks away. This was good. We're very Jekyll and Hyde. Really good match, really bad promo. Really good promo. To oh God, what the fuck was this? So Lexus King comes out to have his celebration with the Heritage Cup. And oh God. And then he turns heel again for no reason, saying that it was all a ruse and that he was never going to be a good guy and he always was going to be his father's son. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And also, I just need you all to look at this man. This man should not be allowed to say anything about anybody because look at this motherfucker's hair. Not the hair on top of his head. The hair on top of his head's bad. But look at that fucking face. What the hell is that?
Wait, what? Are you showing something? We can't see anything.
You can't see the picture?
No, I don't see anything. I don't know.
It's on my screen.
Really? I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's on my
That's
screen.
so weird.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
I was like, what? It's a John Cena? Can you not see it?
No, I can see that.
We talked about him earlier, but... So, Lexus King looking like doing his best Chris Jericho impression from WCW. Bobby will get that reference and enjoy it. I'll show you a picture later, don't worry. He says that he's changing the rules to the Heritage Cup. No more rounds. No more time limits. It's back to being a one-fall championship. I think this is the end of the Heritage Cup. I think this is going to be quietly pushed away and hidden under a rug. Because if there's no rounds or no anything else, I don't think it exists much longer. Is that a cartoon character from Arcade? What the hell was that? That was what Lexus King came out tonight, and that's what his barber did to his face. It's fucking awful.
I will ask for a refund at that point.
If this has ever been said, then I wonder why. And then the system saved the day when Fandango's music played, and not just Fandango, as in like us having fun and calling Johnny Dirty Curtis Fandango. No, the actual Fandango music and Videotron played, and the crowd rejoiced as Dirty Dango Johnny Curtis was back in NXT one more time. Former NXT Tag Team Champion Johnny Curtis. He comes out and he makes comments talking about how he used to do a lot of dumb stuff here. He used to play dress up. But now he's here for the system, and he's here because the system likes gold. And I'm like, since when? They only have one piece of gold, and I don't think they've ever had any other types of gold.
They did, but they lost them.
Well, I was to say, unless you count Hannah Montana's half of a championship.
No, Moose is the only man standing now.
That's a sad sight to see. Anyways, he cuts a promo, and apparently it's going to be JDC versus Lexus King for the cup next week. I mean, I don't know what it is. He just needs a Rufus. Yes, he does need a Rufus. Again, I'll show you all of this later, Astrid. That is indeed atrocious, Mel. It is
Same
indeed
word I used.
Serious, what in the actual fuck is that facial hair? It looks like a horrid undercover disguise. Fandango saved the worst segment of the night. No. We've got more things coming. Don't you worry about that. They rejoiced because your boy would. Look, I denounced him again now. I'm not in on this because this heel turn makes no sense. As much as the Zaria heel turn made no sense, this makes even less sense.
And it makes me wonder, were they trying to like book him as a face to see what would happen? And because it didn't seem to work out, and they were like, never mind. We're going to turn you back in a sort of way, and they say, gotcha! You know, it's kind of like a prank all along. I feel like this would have made, I don't want to say make sense, but I feel like it would have looked a little bit better if perhaps we have Regal there with him. Because I feel like that would have been a great reaction to like the way that he was turning him, but also like the way his reaction was. I did like the fact that Fandango says, "Oh, did you get your face spray painted before you got out here?" But also the fact that he's like, "Wait, your mama called you Fandango, so I'm gonna call you Fandango." But he's like, "No, I'm JDC," and this and that. It was just so funny because it's I think the first time like that we mentioned somebody's WWE name versus TNA name, because we'd had Dana Brooke in here, but they never acknowledged her as Dana Brooke. They just acknowledged her as Ash by Elegance at that point.
I'll be honest with you. They tried not to say her name at all because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah. So it's just the irony that this is the first time that we actually get a reference like this of like, this is all canon in the WWE universe, to put it like that. That definitely made me laugh. But yeah, we get Fandango versus Lexus King next week. So,
yes, Mel. It gets worse.
I wonder, do we get Fandango being the first TNA star or wrestler to win an NXT championship, quote unquote?
No.
Yeah, he's got the system apparently.
They do mention Breeze, and there's a reason why they mentioned Breeze this week for the first time ever. At the Royal Rumble, Big E accidentally let slip that Tyler Breeze is now working for NXT in the writing department. He's writing storylines for NXT, as well as another job that he didn't specify. But he did specify that he can at least say that he is now working with the team writing storylines in NXT. God, I hope the whole system doesn't show up. Like, I like JDC. JDC's fine. I really don't want... give me Eddie Edwards. Leave the rest of the system. Certainly leave Hannah Montana. But give me Eddie Edwards and I'm fine.
Eddie and Brian will be the only two I would be fine with.
No, I don't want Brian. I don't
mind Brian.
I don't want Brian. Oh my God, it's Tyler. Yes, he wasn't on screen tonight, but
he posted a picture though.
Yeah, we also do want to say hello to Kenji. I didn't see you earlier, but hello. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. She isn't Hannah in the system. She's Miley. I don't fuck. She's trash wherever she goes under whatever name we call her. I watched her 10 years ago, 12 years ago, wrestle Mickie James, and she was as bad then as she is now. She might have been better 10 years ago against Mickie James on the Indies. And that's saying something. She's been employed for an awfully long time, making a lot of money. Well, I'm sorry. I don't like to be negative about poor Lish, but poor Lish can't wrestle a fucking lick. She really can't.
No comment.
And the only reason why I feel confident talking about this is because she wrestled a lot of these matches in the Northeast. So I've had to watch them. A lot of them. I've probably watched more Alicia matches than most anybody else in the entire Ole family. Because her and Eddie worked the indies in New England. The worst part becomes next when we see a clip of, I didn't realize that this wasn't a commercial.
I thought the show has started.
So, Wild Cards is a fun show. I've watched it on here and there. I've watched it. It's fine. It's not good. It's not bad. But it's fine. All of a sudden, I'm watching these people from Wild Cards that I know. And all of a sudden, I see Tony D'Angelo on my screen. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? They didn't set it up saying, hey, here's a clip of Tony D'Angelo in CW's Wild Cards. And then, if that's not bad enough that we have to see Tony D'Angelo trying to act, which, by the way, wasn't a good job. We then see the family watching the segment. And Rizzo going, oh, that's great. I can't wait to watch Wild Cards. And I'm like, the fuck did she watch? Because it's not the same thing I just watched.
I had to click on my app to make sure I didn't click on a different channel by mistake.
Yeah. I thought it was one of those like Netflix commercials where they just started putting something on in the middle of the commercial break.
I thought it was a vignette, like for somebody new. So I was like, oh, this is new. And I'm like, it looks different from the usual debut production. So at first I thought, oh, it's just, it's some kind of preview for somebody debuting, whatever, a vignette somehow. And then I see the girl because I recognize her from Riverdale. And I know she's on Walker because I've seen the commercials too. So I'm like, wait, Walker's on tonight? I was like, what about NXT? Weren't I just watching NXT a few minutes ago? Click on it, it says WNXT. I'm like, I'm in the channel. What the heck is this? And I see Tony. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, they definitely should have done better with presenting this part.
Then Stax is still getting uppity about a few weeks ago when Tony D'Angelo didn't come out for their match and was busy talking to Izzy. Because he's like, oh, I'm sorry, John. We didn't have the money for the red carpet to get you out here. Dude, Stax is going to get his ass turned on real quick soon.
I don't know about this.
It's not good. I don't care which way it is. It's bad. It's all bad. But Tony says, go out there tonight and win. Just focus on beating Rich. When we come back from commercial break, Stax attacks Ridge. Match starts. Thankfully, it doesn't last very long. Izzy tries to interfere. Sean Spears and friends are watching from the Eagle's Nest. And Ridge beats Stax. Oh, goody. Ridge versus Tony D'Angelo 2. Oh, fun.
And for the cherry on top in a steel cage.
Because that makes everything better.
It does. You haven't realized?
Going back to the Lish thing, this was not the rant I was expecting tonight. It was like, if WWE film's coming back, God, some of those movies are really good. Like, I get it. A lot of people don't like The Marine. I like the first Marine movie. Mm-hmm. I like the first 12 Rounds movie. Mm-hmm. The one that doesn't have John Moxley in it.
So you know Evil was fun.
I didn't watch it. It's a horror movie. I don't watch horror movies. But yeah, no, WWE films. Trust me, it fits in with the lineage of WWE films because that wild card scene was garbage. Hot garbage.
It's garbage.
We then get a backstage segment where Naxium are trying to talk to each other, and Briggs and Imamura come up, and they yell and scream at Axiom again. And Axiom's like, look, we got to defend our titles on TNA on Thursday night when we take on Nick Nemeth. It's his brother!
Yes.
Isn't that how he says it? Something like that?
Pretty accurate.
Douchebag Nemeth. I honestly couldn't even tell you what the fuck his first name is because I always call him Douchebag Nemeth.
Nick and Ryan.
Okay, sure. Maybe that sounds about right. I don't know. Even if you told me the name, I still wouldn't know it.
Well, for those that don't know, it's Ryan Nemeth.
All I know is he was in Ring of Honor and he was in AEW, and apparently he had a really bad time getting people to tell him back. And he thinks that that's lawsuit worthy. I don't know. That's all I know about Ryan Nemeth because I've never seen the man wrestle. That's for damn
You said
sure.
the name.
Yes, I know. I know who he is. I refer to him as douchebag.
I mean, I get it.
But they say go ahead and beat somebody next week, and then and only then you can have a tag team title match. Briggs tells Imamura that he's got it under control. Imamura tells Briggs they got it under control. And I went, oh shit, a triple threat match. As soon as they both said, I've got this, and walked in opposite directions, I knew what was happening.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
When you've been watching NXT way too long at this point.
Oh, boy. We've had a run of bad things, so let's have something nice. Zaria and Ruca defeated Chemical X. They were called Chemical X, if I remember correctly, too, right? They were
I
actually
don't know. I've been calling them that anyway because of the shirts, so I don't care.
I believe they had a graphic Chemical X tonight.
I didn't
have
pay
to go back and
attention
look. It was fine. Tatum Paxley is still one of the greatest people you've ever seen wrestle. When she did so here's the thing. Tatum Paxley pinned herself, but the referee just decided not to count it. Because she had both her shoulders on the mat, had her hands up in Sol Ruca's mouth, like she was fish hooking her. But both of her shoulders were down and Sol Ruca was touching her, which means she pinned herself. That being said, Astrid, why don't you go ahead and talk about this match?
Well, she called it a spider submission.
Yeah, that was a weird name for that. That was a weird name.
The other thing that was, I don't want to call it strange, but we had earlier, we had that backstage segment with Zaria, and she acted, like you said, very heelish to it, versus Sol is babyface to it. And Zaria is able to show off a lot of her being a powerhouse, which I loved because we barely see her wrestle, so I'm glad we got this glimpse of her here. But at the same time, there's a point that she has a moment with the referee, and Gigi's taking advantage of the referee's distraction. I went, wait, what? I'm confused. I was like, you guys never gave me those kind of vibes. I was like, I thought the heel was sorry on the other side. So what are you guys doing this for? I don't know. It kind of confused me there, to be honest. But yeah, we had that happen. And I don't know. Just the only thing I didn't like about this is the fact that I like Zaria and Sol together. But the way you've been building Chemical X so far as the team that it is, why you have them lose like this? Because the match didn't last too long. They haven't, even though they just got packaged recently, you've been kind of promoting them quite often to the point that I feel like they should have gotten the win during this match. And I don't know, it made me wonder what's going to happen here with the storyline moving forward, because even Sol's facial expression wasn't one that she seemed kind of odd by winning the way they won. So I was like, I'm confused by this whole match at the same time here, because Chemical X getting the referee distraction, that moment with Zaria and the referee, and then the way they won, and Sol's reaction at the end, everything collectively, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. So I, at the same time, I'm just wondering what's next for this, because it's confusing too.
Yeah, the in-ring stuff was all kind of fine.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make any sense, but it was kind of fine when you put it all together.
Yep.
If I hadn't seen the promo segment in the beginning of the show and I just watched the match, I'd have been more excited about this because everything that made sense to everything we knew going into the night. Yeah, Gigi got her soul snatched. It was a relatively good match, but a lot of things didn't make a bunch of sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which was the story of the night. Things not making sense. Trick Williams cuts a promo about Vengeance Day. He says that he hasn't talked to Obafemi, but he doesn't need to talk to Obafemi. They know what they need to do tonight. It's no big deal. They're going to get the job done, and then he's going to take care of Obafemi. To which I'm like, sure, whatever, Trick. I don't believe you. It was an entertaining match, and they were the emo Powder Puff Girls. Everybody online seems to like the way Shotzi pushes Gigi Dolin on top of Tatum Paxley for some reason. I think we just add that to the Stephanie Vaquer booty move that everybody on the internet seems to like and just go, yeah, there's a reason for all of this, and we're not going to talk about it.
Yep.
Wrestling fans are weird. Just ask Asuka.
Yeah.
We then get to the best segment of the night. We had the best match of the night, which was Stephanie versus Jacy. We now have the best segment of the night. Well, this is actually two segments, let's be honest, because there's a segment that starts this, and then Giulia comes out and starts segment number 2. So Bayley comes out first, and then Roxanne comes out. And before they can announce that Giulia's coming out, Roxanne wants to talk about her favorite topic, her. And she does an okay job. Now, Ashton and I disagree on this, so we'll leave it to the chat. I don't think Roxanne in a tube top and leather is a good look for Roxanne. Astrid seems to think that it's a very good look for Roxanne. Let us know in the chat what you think about Roxanne in leather in a tube top. Because I didn't get it. I don't think it fits the Roxanne character in any way, shape, or form. But they cut really good promos back and forth. Bayley talks about how she built this place, that the first ring that got built in NXT, she helped build that ring. She helped put this together. She helped put that together. I just watched TakeOver Dallas last night for something that's coming up potentially in the near future. Keep your eyes out for something fun coming up. Where she lost her title to Asuka. Bayley has been one of the cornerstones to the women's evolution. Because while, yes, Sasha and Charlotte were the ones that held the championships, let's be honest, the most popular person in the 4 horsewomen ever has always been Bayley. She's always been the one that the fans get around. She's always the one that the fans rally around. When Damage Control came out, it was because of Bayley that they got the heat they got. No offense to Dakota Kai. No offense to Io Sky. But if it wasn't for Bayley, they wouldn't have gotten the heat they got. Roxanne responds by talking about all of her accomplishments, by talking about how Bayley had to run away here because she keeps not being able to find success now that Bayley is giving back to the rest of the women's locker room. We'll come back to women's wrestlers giving back in just a moment, because there's the one who never gives back is coming back in a moment. They keep going back and forth, and Bayley does say at one point, you know what? You keep acting the way you're going to act, you're not going to have any friends. Hell, you're probably not even going to have a best friend anymore. Giulia finally decides it's time to come out. So we end segment 1 between Roxanne and Bayley and move to segment 2, which was Giulia telling Bayley that her and Roxanne are both going to lose, but one of them will survive the beautiful madness and the other will not. This prompts Charlotte, our winner of the Women's Royal Rumble. My queen is home in NXT. Very excited. However, she's not known for giving back to the rest of the division. She has 14 championships for a reason.
And this is why she's at the bottom of my list.
Well, I mean, that's why she's at the top of mine. She's the most successful female women's wrestler in the modern era.
Yeah.
She tells to Roxanne, you were the runner-up at the Royal Rumble. If you manage to win the title at Vengeance Day, at Stand and Deliver, you might just be the runner-up one more time when I beat you for that title. She tells Giulia that she might be the champ of the best women's division in the history of NXT, and that's great, but I'm better. She then talks to Bayley about the 4 horsewomen, and Bayley will tell everybody else about how great Charlotte is, and Bayley kind of agrees. And out comes Cora Jade with a kendo stick, and she beats up Asuka. I'm sorry, she beats up Asuka. She beats up Giulia. She beats up Bayley. And then Roxanne's like, no, we're best friends. Don't hit me. And Cora Jade's like, fuck you, lady. And she tries to hit her too. And Roxanne scampers by the queen as the queen just watches all of the beautiful chaos. This was indeed a segment. And if it had stopped with just Roxanne and Bayley, it would have been a home run of a segment. Giulia didn't do poorly, but Giulia really didn't do anything. Like, you can't hold it against Giulia because it's not Giulia's fault. But Giulia basically wasn't involved in this segment other than to stand there and say, I'm the women's champion. I will win.
I'm more with STG on this one. This segment was great until Charlotte showed up.
No.
No. You had your moment, sir. So this is my time now. Excuse you. It's just like, okay, I get it. She's a 14-time women's champion, but and this is something that I forgot who brought it. I think it was Bayley that actually brought it up to her, if I'm not mistaken, before in a promo and said, "What are you if you're not with a championship?" Because it's really the times that we don't have Charlotte as that she's not a champion somehow. Versus like this is the way I like about having people like Bayley and Becky that they're able to create storylines when they don't have a championship involved, and they highlight the younger women that are going to be there in the future because they know that they're not going to be there forever. And that's something that Roxanne also brings up in the promo because she says, "Or if it was like 15-year-old me, I would have been happy that I'm in the ring with my role model, but I don't need you though." And it's like that kind of thing of like Bayley tells her, "Yeah, this." We're looking at the future, hence why that you're here. I'm like, I built this, but you're the future of the company. And I also like the fact that Bayley looks up to her and says, if I don't win, I will be fine, but will you though? Because you've been obsessed with the championship ever since you lost it as well. And another point that I like that Roxanne brought up too is that she says, I have no friends, no mentors, and no equals. And she's like, well, I'll go to the main roster with the NXT championship and win basically all the titles. But she's like, when I decide to give up the NXT Women's Championship, which reminded me a lot of the Paige part because it happened with this is the only one to really happen to of giving up the championship when she got called up. She said, maybe when I give up the NXT Women's Championship, maybe then Cora will win a title. And when she said that, I went, ew, this is when we're getting Cora in this match now. I gotcha. But yeah, it's like the interaction with Giulia and Charlotte again. Charlotte saying, "You're good, but I'm better," and it's like you're supposed to put over the future somehow because, like I said, you're not gonna be here forever. It's not all about you. And I feel like Bayley does a better job of talking about herself, but also uplifting the other women. Versus Charlotte didn't do that, and I feel like Charlotte took away from the shine that this was all doing. I didn't know that she said she was going to be in NXT tonight to see if Giulia inspired her, so she would have her title match against Giulia. But I feel like they could have done a different segment with Giulia and Charlotte away from this because I feel like it took away the shine from this match at Vengeance Day versus the Charlotte Rumble match. And I didn't like that part of it, like that the mix setting up when they mixed this up too. And that's why it's like it's ironic because then Roxanne saying that line about Cora and Cora coming in here almost hitting her, but Roxanne was able to escape. But like I said, it's like I like how this unfolded. I just would have taken Charlotte out of the equation here, and I would have done a different segment with Giulia perhaps, and just not maybe this week either. Because I feel like if you're gonna do the summit already ahead of time for this week, then do the Charlotte one for later. I wouldn't have mixed them up too because they're two different things here at the moment.
Yeah. We're still split 50-50 on the look as S2G and actually no. I mean, it depends on how you take the fit screamed look at me, I'm a cool bad guy. I mean, if you take that as a good thing, then we're still split. The one who shouldn't have won the Royal Rumble. So many people hating on my queen.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they keep Bayley at NXT when the others get called up. They trust her. I wholeheartedly agree. I love Bayley. Bayley's great. This segment was great, except for Charlotte. Giulia is your issue with this segment? No, I said Giulia was the one thing that didn't work about this segment, but that was because they didn't make Giulia a focal point at all in the segment, and the fact that it's about her championship is a problem. I didn't say Giulia was the problem with the segment. I just said Giulia's involvement in the segment was the problem, as in it wasn't written well enough for her to be involved. If Giulia's not out there, this entire segment goes on the same way, and it does about the same thing. Because Charlotte can talk about Giulia without her being there, and Bayley and Roxanne can talk about Giulia without her being there. And this segment changes nothing. Nothing about the segment changes. It just means that Cora beats up on Bayley by herself, and Roxanne gets away. I mean, with her luck, she probably will get injured.
Exactly.
It is always about Charlotte. When it's not about Charlotte, we ask the
No.
question, what is going on with Charlotte? It's just like Poochie. When we don't see Poochie, we have to ask what's going on with Poochie. Not a Simpsons fan. Okay. I'm still laughing at Rox being shocked that Cora tried to attack her. Yeah, I know. I saw this one too. Woo! My queen.
Oh my god.
And the best part is, no matter which championship she chooses, because let's be honest, she's not choosing the NXT title again. Whichever title she chooses, I'm a happy boy. She either faces Tiffany Stratton, and it's a happy boy because it's Tiffy time. She chooses Rhea Ripley. I get to see a third match with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. And those things, regardless of the build, are always fucking fantastic.
I'm gonna love the match, but not the result if Charlotte wins it though.
I love how everybody just assumes that Charlotte's going to win this championship. I don't know what would give you that impression. Okay, well, we had something fun, so now we have to have something bad again. Ava's backstage with Javon Evans and all ego Ethan Page. And she says that, look, Javon, you've attacked Ethan twice now, and she is a damn Flair. Yes, she is a damn Flair. I wonder, as her old shirt used to say, do it with Flair. Nope, not going to make that joke. I had a joke, and I'm not going to do it. Ava's here. She goes and says, look, I have to punish you, Javon. You're being suspended. And Ethan Page is like, hold on. Why would we suspend him when we can have him wrestle me? And she's like, he's not cleared. And I'm like, yes. So this is where we get the non-sanctioned match, Ava. This is where a normal, good general manager, and I'll defend the people who say Ava sucks as general manager here. A good general manager says, lights out, unsanctioned, whatever it is, so that they, Javon signs the whole harmless agreement, whatever storyline thing you want to do. These are all, by the way, those are all things WWE has done in the past to do these things. where Javon doesn't have to be cleared. He fights Ethan Page, and all goes on. But she says, fine, Ethan, you get your match as long as Javon can get cleared. And I'm like, then what was the point of suspending him? If he's going to be cleared in a week and a half, why did we bother pretending like we were going to suspend him? What the fuck was this? It was a great shirt. Not many good wrestling shirts come in like this dark blue that looks fantastic. Rick and Charlotte have two things in common. Yeah, that was one of the jokes I was going to make. All right. I used to absolutely adore Charlotte. I still do absolutely adore Charlotte. The problem I have with Ava is that she doesn't sell well for me. Her character seems not good. I mean, that makes sense. I get that. Astrid, did you have any thoughts on All Ego Ethan Page versus Javon Evans at Wednesday? No?
Fine with me.
Well, our night doesn't get any better because now we have to see Hank and Tank as Josh Briggs comes up to Hank and Tank and says, hey, you guys versus me and Imamura next week because we need to have a tag team match. And they're like, fine. And I'm like, oh, God, who did Imamura get them to wrestle?
What? No. I know I was going to say the other one.
Swiftly moving on, like the Grammys moved swiftly away from Taylor Swift on Sunday night.
And Ed is out of the show. Who wants to be a new co-host?
You need me next weekend, just so we're clear.
No, I don't.
Tiffany is the women's champion 3 months. I'm sure Charlotte to win. I mean, I'll be honest. I really think that Charlotte's going to lose to whoever she wrestles. I really don't think she's winning that title. I think Charlotte's back this time to do the thing that Becky and Bayley have been doing for the last year. It's her turn to start putting over the younger talent. I don't think she wins. She's upset about my hate for Ava.
No.
Yeah, get Swift. Wow. No Grammy for you.
No.
The Grandma Nazi's back. As we move through the Hank and Tank and Briggs and Imamura segment, we go back a little bit further. Ridge comes walking up to the family with Izzy. For some reason, she's still backstage with them, even though last week she told us she doesn't even like them and there's no affiliation, but yet she got involved in the match and she's still with them backstage. Ridge wants a one-on-one match with nobody else getting involved. Tony's like, that's fine. I don't give a damn. And Izzy's like, let's make it a cage match. And I'm like, why?
Let's kick her.
They're already bad enough. Why do I want to add a steel cage to it?
I don't know about that.
Oh, I don't buy that Edward Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Fries, she's a Flair. Okay, at least Mel's with me on the love of Charlotte. Flairs are often all about them and only them. Izzy. Now, Izzy. Come on now, Izzy. Yeah, there's lots of issues with this whole Izzy thing. Like, she's finally got an identity. She's finally not just a random girl in green who's not Karmen Petrovic. But it still sucks. But at least it's another story in the women's division. I mean, it's a story about a men's division feud, but at least it involves a woman, and it's not involving, like, a love story. She's not theoretically yet in love with either Sax or Tony D'Angelo. So this is technically a good thing, right?
Yeah, please don't make any kind of romance relationship happen either. Please.
Although Izzy and Tony seem like they'd make a good pair. Although I think the Intercontinental Champion might have an issue with that.
So the Brown Breaker might disagree with you.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm sure Braun Breaker is having fun on the main roster. Just leave that at that.
We're not starting this.
We shouldn't start this. We have no verifiable information on any of that. Kalani Jordan defeats Karmen Petrovic, or potentially Jada Carker defeats Karmen Petrovic, depending on what the hell Vic Joseph wants to talk about. God, Vic had... So, if you watched on Netflix, you found out that Vic had a really, really rough time in this segment. This match did not go well for Vic Joseph on commentary in any way, shape, or form, especially during the 3-minute commercial break in the middle of the match. Because Jada Parker was stood right in front of Vic Joseph with her back to him with a headset. She called him, at first, she welcomed them all. She's like, hi, Corey. Hi, Booker. Hi, Snitch Joseph. She really didn't like Vic. She didn't want to hear anything he had to say. Both Corey and Booker ganged up on him. At one point, he said that Jada just got kicked in the face, to which Corey had to be like, no, Jada's standing right in front of you. Kalani's in the ring. She got kicked in the face. And then at one point, Kelani was trying to hit the split-legged moonsault for the second time, and he said that Jada hitting the split-legged moonsault. Vic had a rough time during this match.
He got distracted by her being there.
He hates squirrels? I don't know about this one. This match was fine, I guess. I'll be honest. I didn't pay much attention to the actual match. I was much more interested in what was going on commentary than I was about the match.
I feel like not the match itself, but I think the part that really stands out in this match is first having Jada come out. She distracts Kelani. Kalani's not happy about her being there. But at the same time, in commentary, they keep bringing up the fact that Jada's not entirely a fan of Karmen or Kelani at the moment either.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, the part that really stood out here is the fact that Kelani is doing a submission, which she doesn't really do. She wins the match by the submission, Karmen tapping out. And then while she's looking at Jada, who's, like you said, sitting on commentary on the table, she does a submission yet again. And this time she doesn't let go after she won. So the referee reverses that decision and says that Karmen won the match instead. And definitely has to do more with that character change that we're seeing little by little from Kelani. It's like you don't see her doing anything like this whatsoever. First, having a submission to end the match, and then having that submission on to get the decision reversed at the end. And those two things are really important when it comes to that change she's having in her character right now. And I feel like she did very well with that aspect of it. And those kind of details of like that, basically little bits and pieces we'll be getting every single week of her turning, and this is one of those examples here. So I feel like she did very well with this character development here. Other than that, I don't know if she hit Ashante at one point or something happened with Ashante at ringside. I could care less because I don't care about the guy anyway. But other than that, I was like, it was fine. But I think that's really the part that really stood out the most in this match.
Yeah, the Kelani turn makes sense. They've been telling us week on...
Mm-hmm.
Like the Lexus King face turn made sense because they kept telling us he was turning babyface. That was good. Then they flipped him back heel tonight for no reason whatsoever. That was bad. Especially because he's facing JDC, who's a heel. Then you have Zaria trying to turn heel against heels, but wrestling like a babyface, which doesn't make sense. Whereas you have Kelani continuing to move closer and closer and closer to the heel side while wrestling more and more like a heel. This was very good. Also, the squirrel hater thing is a reference to an Instagram fiasco where a squirrel kept breaking into his man cave and he kept getting more and more angry about it. Thank you, Mackenzie Mitchell, for recording the whole thing. And also, we haven't said it here, but congratulations on Mackenzie Mitchell for being the TNA ring announcer. Good for her. Glad to see her back in the wrestling world officially. Sad that she has to put up with the Rascals, but it is what it is. I wouldn't want to put up with them. Glad you guys have to talk about them on a week in, week out basis, and I don't have to talk about it.
I'm glad I do.
Stephanie cuts a promo in the parking lot. There's only one thing that matters about this promo, and it's not the promo. This promo was literally WWE 2K25 promo. Fallon, Jacy can't help you. Fallon, Jazmyn can't help you. Fallon, I'm going to beat you at insert pay-per-view name. I'm sorry. We praised Stephanie for her really good backstage promo the other week. This week, she cuts promo in parking lot. It's fucking awful. The only thing we have to talk about in this promo is she was in the NXT parking lot for over a minute and a half, and nothing happened to her. She is the most badass person in the entire world because she managed to go through the entire parking lot cutting a promo, and nothing happened to her.
And there were people in the parking lot, which...
There were lots of people in the parking lot. It was great to see Mackenzie back in TNA. Yes, there were so many people walking around in that background. One of the people walks by her and she gets distracted.
Yes, Lola. You didn't realize?
I didn't give a shit. Why do you think I would notice if it were or weren't Lola Vice? What about me? I'm not Andre. I wouldn't notice Lola Vice if I didn't have
I
to.
know, but you saw the person standing next to her and passing by. You didn't realize it was her?
No, I just thought it was generic PC talent in the parking lot doing generic PC talent things.
No.
Which honestly is what Lola Vice does. So, I mean, that's pretty much the same thing.
Oh my god.
So is that why everybody was talking about Lola today on Twitter when I was seeing this segment and they were talking about Lola and I'm like, what the fuck does Lola have to do with any of this?
Oh my god. I can't believe it.
Do you have any thoughts to add to this?
It was fine for me. I feel like there was nothing out of the ordinary. Like the part that really stood out to me was having Lola pass by, and I think she was doing fine, but the fact that Lola distracts her adds to it because it just shows that she's gonna be gloomy and basically over her in that aspect of it because of the match. So to me, that was the factor. So
I guess.
Mhm.
Ava is talking to Naxium in the locker in the GM's office when Bayley comes storming in and she says, "I want that bitch
Which
in a
one?
match." To which Ava responds, "Which bitch?" And she goes, "Court." She goes, "I can make that happen." She's like, "I want her next week." And she's like, "Well, Bayley, you know you have an Elimination Chamber qualifying match on Monday in Nashville. Just want to make sure that Millie knows that they're going to be in Nashville next week for Raw." Nashville.
And then her clue word was that she said, "I don't care how it could be next week. You can even add her to the Vengeance Day match. I don't freaking care. I just want Cora." And I was like,
Yeah.
There you go. She's getting added to
There's
it
the
later.
four-way. I was saying, there's the four-way. So Cora wins this match next week and gets added to this match and it becomes a four-way. Because somebody needs to take the pin. And as of right now, there's nobody in that match to take the pin.
Mm-hmm.
Millie, I'm already sad I can't go. Oh, I'm sorry, Millie. Just post something to Cody telling him that you want to go. I'm sure Cody will send you. Cody loves to do that shit. I'm half joking, half being serious. Have you not seen everybody just tweet Cody Rhodes and they just get tickets to shows? Bayley says thank you and leaves. And Imamura and Briggs come in and they're like, "All right, we got a tag match." And so Imamura goes, "Yeah, so do I." And he's like, "What are you talking about? My team already said yes." He's like, "Well, my team did too." She's like, that's fine. We can fix it. Who are the teams? So next week it is going to be the Candy Crew taking on Hank Tank, taking on Briggs and Imamura.
No. I just had the song in my mind when he posted that.
Whoa. You don't need to. Just tweet Cody Rhodes. He gets tickets to everything, I'm sure.
Right.
There's that too. There's that too. I figured I'd tease you because I saw you tweeting about it yesterday. About that, I kept saying Nashville and you kept getting more and more irritated. So I figured I'd just mention it. Yeah, this is gonna be a shitty tag match next week. Not looking forward to it.
But I was gonna say at the end, because it looks like they were talking about having number one contenders, and then that's when Axiom goes, "Oh, maybe like probably the winner of that three-way then goes against us," kind of thing. And Ava's like, "Yep, that I agree with that."
Cool. We're gonna have another team that I'm gonna assume is going to defeat Naxium.
No.
That's just not going to defeat Naxium.
No.
It's not the first time this week I've been called jerkface. It won't be the last time this week that I've been called jerkface. Yeah. Next week, the Go Home Show. Ridge Holland versus Tony D'Angelo in a Steel Cage North American Championship match. Lexus King defends his Heritage Cup in rules unclear match against Fandango, otherwise known as JDC. We have Bayley versus Cora confirmed, and we also have the Candy Crew versus Hank Tank versus Briggs and Imamura for the number one contenders to Naxium when they defeat the Nemeth brothers on Thursday on Impact. It's not really a spoiler. It's just fucking obvious. Because the first people to win NXT titles is not going to be Dolph Ziggler and his douchebag brother.
You didn't say it correctly, though.
Douchebag Nemeth.
No, not that part.
His douchebag brother! Is that the one you wanted?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I was going to say, I know you saw me tweet multiple times whining about it. I did. I did indeed see multiple times whining about it. I know. I just, I pick. I'm one of those guys. I see a bear and I go, oh, look, there's a bear. I'm going to poke it.
Yep.
Well, apparently I've moved from Lexus. Oh, no, there's Lexus King. Okay. I was like, I've moved from Lexus King to Charlotte Flair, apparently.
No.
She can tell you, I've been crowing about Charlotte Flair for years.
I like her, but not as much as you do.
Very few people like Charlotte as much as I do. I think the only person I know that likes Charlotte more than me is Ella.
And I like her more in real life than I do in character.
Oh, absolutely. I think she's got a fantastic always choose the bear.
You can ask me that. It's been, what, 3 years of dealing with him at this point like this?
It has.
Yeah.
It has indeed.
I think going to 4 now at this point.
We're getting there. However many years you've been in media, I've been there right alongside you.
Yeah.
Literally, I was on your first show.
Yep. Since 2021.
All right. Femi and Trick Williams go down to A-Town Down Under. Yeah. This was a really good match right up until the end. I liked this match right up until Eddie Thorpe got involved. Like, that is the best compliment I've ever heard. That's the best compliment I've ever had. Oh, by the way, just to annoy Millie a little bit, the Vengeance Day post show is going to be me and Mark Talks Wrestling.
Yeah.
And do we finally have confirmation that I can start talking about the pre-show?
No.
Come on! I want to talk about the pre-show!
I'm trying. Not working.
All right. I really like this match. I thought that A-Town Down Under made Femi look great. I thought that they made Trick look really good. And I thought that the chemistry between the four of them was actually kind of impressive. I thought this was great. And then This guy got involved. This man and his fetish for straps got involved. His leather fetish. I said that just to pop Astrid because I knew she couldn't hear me say that and not smirk. Hold on. Do we have a squee? There it is. There's a squee. So Eddie gets involved. Trick loses the match. It's fine. So it looks like Trick Williams versus Eddie Thorpe in a strap match for the number one contender, I'm assuming at Stand and Deliver, which again goes to Eddie Thorpe versus Oba Femi as the men's world championship match at Stand and Deliver. Why? Although I am really looking forward to A-Town Down Under versus Oba Femi on next weekend. And I love it because Grayson was pre-match. Grayson was like, I'm going to be the next NXT champion. And Theory's like, excuse you, sir? He's like, we're one of us is going to be the NXT champion.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Waiting for NXT to come back to Nashville or SmackDown. Awful. He ruined the finish for me. Eddie and his strap awakening somebody's fetish, I'm sure. Oh, it's Mel's. It's absolutely Mel's fetish, but that's besides the point. We're really trying to make Billy Gunn a main eventer. Oh, it's a great comparison. When Billy Gunn won the King of the Ring and had to face The Rock for the World Championship. Oh, that popped me. Oh, that popped me right here. That was good. Thank you, Will. I needed that. I mean, I wasn't going to call Mel out like that. Oh, no, I will. Hell, Ashton would have if I hadn't.
Maybe a little.
Hold on. For this, I have a thing. Hold on.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Right now, that's what works there.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, we do. We know our Mel Ball. If nothing else, we know our Mel Ball. And we know straps, Eddie Thorpe, she'd be down.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the tag team match that happened?
I zoned out during most of this. I was not as interested in this match whatsoever. I think I like the parts more than anything with Trick tagging himself in. Every time that Oba would try to do his pose, and then Trick would come on and tag himself in the way he did. I did like the double Samoan drop that he did to Theory and Grayson there, but yeah, it's like once I saw Eddie, I was like, I don't know whether it's you and Trick or you and Oba. I'm not interested. Swipe left. You know, if I could, I would.
Well,
No.
when we watch Evolve, we're gonna have to swipe right because Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes are swipe right. So we're not gonna swipe left. We're gonna swipe right.
No, we're not talking about them right now, though.
Might as well be talking about that right now. I don't want to talk about this match.
But yeah, this didn't scream main event to me, and
No.
I hate to be saying that, especially when Oba's involved in here. But
Oba Femi could wrestle against anybody. Like Oba Femi versus Grayson Waller versus Austin Theory shouldn't main event Vengeance Day. But if it does, I can see why. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of intrigue in that, especially with the Grayson Waller, Austin Theory. They're kind of at odds. The Grayson Waller thinks he's the greatness. Like there's a lot of fun in that triple threat at Vengeance Day that while the women should main event, I think if Oba main events with that match, I can see the reason why. You know what I mean? Logically, it makes sense to me that I can understand why that match might main event over Roxanne versus Bayley versus Giulia. It shouldn't, but it might. I would open the card. If we're doing Eddie Thorpe versus Obafemi at Stand and Deliver, that match needs to open the show. Because that cannot be the main event of that show. No Oba Ridge.
No, thanks.
I do want to. I saw Yuka, and I kept thinking it was Yuka Sakazaki because I keep reading Yuka, and I forget that Imamura's first name is Yuka because they just call him Imamura.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be the first one to win the NXT Tag Team Championships, like Omos won the C. Yeah, it very well could be. And if you want to find out about what's going on in Noah and Omos dropping the CHC Tag Team Championships and giving it to somebody else, you should go ahead and watch Melball and Andre's show, Do You Noah? Which they have on Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk every week, where they go ahead and cover the stuff that's going on in Noah. They also cover all the stuff that happens in Stardom and Marigold, in New Japan, all that stuff. And if you want a condensed version of that, Link, I got you, buddy. I got links for days for them. You can go ahead and find them all right here. But it's youtube.com/@Andre and Melball Wrestling Chat. They even do local shows where they do Chop Talk, where they talk about all the wonderful wrestling shows. There's even a couple of episodes that this lady appeared on when they brought her to Canadian wrestling shows where she was recognized. Nobody recognized her in Florida at the wrestling store, but people recognized her halfway across the world, halfway across the continent in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. You certainly recognized there. And of course, if you want all of this in audio form, you can go to A Plus Productions or aplusproductions.com to do it. And if you want to find it on the back end after the fact, you can also find it with their good friend Mike the Ref, who's a good friend of ours and of the channel. He ran the Christmas quiz over in December. He's a good friend of ours. He's definitely helped me in everything that I've been able to do here. If you like AEW, I don't know why you would, but if you do, you can go ahead and watch Mike the Ref. He has the best watch-alongs for AEW, so you can go ahead and watch him with that. He even does a WWE My GM mode every Wednesday night after he does his AEW watch-along, so you can go ahead and check that out. I think we've shilled enough for Andre and Melball. Almost gave the time. Daga. Is that the same Daga that used to be with
I was about to say the same thing.
Lady Voldemort? Yeah.
Lady Voldemort.
Copy name.
Probably, because usually people try not to really copy the same names. So it's a possibility.
Yeah, sounds like a guy. Astrid, tell the good people where they can find you this week. And it is
we
done.
got confirmation. Okay. Yeah. You can find me on Friday around 5 p.m. So we have the Impact Post Show with Mark and Brett. You can find me again on Monday doing WCW with Melba and Auntie Collins. It is a new one. And again here on Tuesday doing Taking Over with you. Other than that, you can find me on my Twitter, Blue Sky as Astrid Pizarro, and my Instagram and Threads as Pizarro20. And if you're on my YouTube channel, you can hit subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when I upload or go live, and hit a like on the video. I would appreciate it. On the road to 300 subs. Should be there soon.
Yes, let's get her to 300 subs by WrestleMania. Of course, for me, you can find me right here every Tuesday night with Astrid. Oh, boy, do I got a busy week coming up next week. But we're not quite there yet, so I'll leave that till next week. But, boy, do I have a busy one coming up. I am busy all week next week. Some people are taking a night off. I've got to do all the shows.
Look at my tiny violin.
Yeah, I know. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries2002. Make sure that you follow that for when March comes around, because in March,
I sent you a tweet about it if you want to show it when you're done.
We'll talk about the big mystery faction in a little bit. But let's talk about me for a minute here. We haven't done that enough tonight. Let's talk about me. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries. By the way, that was a joke for anybody who doesn't get it. I apologize. That was a joke. You can find me at Twitter and Blue Sky at edfries12584. In March, you're definitely going to want to follow me, as I am going to be doing a show about at least the first episode of Evolve, and then I might be doing it on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis, talking about Evolve. If I think there's anybody interested in watching that kind of a show, let me know. I really think that could be a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of a lot of the people that they're being named as WWE ID talent. So I'm a big fan of watching this. I want to see more from Zeta Steel. I want to see more from Ricky Smokes, more than I already do, unfortunately. Actually, you're going to be a big fan of Ricky Smokes. I'm telling you. You're going to be a big fan of Ricky Smokes. You can go ahead and find me this Thursday night talking about Ricky Smokes as me, Papa Smokes, and Bobby Munson cover Chaotic Wrestling's On Thin Ice. It happened this past Friday. We're going to be covering that on Ring Respect Radio. It's going to be a bunch of fun. We had the Monarchy, the Tag Team Championships. The Tag Team Champions had the craziest dumb tournament in the history of professional wrestling. Ashley, you ready for this one? So the Tag Team Champions had a tournament to find out who was going to challenge them for their Tag Team Championships. So they had 8 people compete in 4 singles matches. The people who won their singles matches in the quickest amount of time got paired together as a tag team.
This sounds like a TNA cluster F.
And then they had to face the tag team champions in a Royal Rules match. What is a Royal Rules match, you say? I don't fucking know, because they make the rules up as they go along. You can't use closed fists. The Monarchy can pin either of the other individuals in the match, whether they're the legal competitor or not. Submissions are only verbal. You cannot tap out. All kinds of crazy shenanigans. And they added a new one at Thin Ice that we'll tell you about on Thursday. That's a tease. If you want to find out more about Chaotic Wrestling, you can go to chaoticwrestling.com or go to twitch.tv/chaoticwrestling. And if you subscribe, you can go ahead and get their entire back catalog. Right now, every Friday night, they are going ahead and playing an old Cold Fury as they're on the road to Cold Fury this year. That is their WrestleMania. I'm very excited. I'll be in attendance again for my second Cold Fury in 2 years. I'm very excited to go back. Lots of good stuff happening there. But let's talk about this mystery faction. All right. I have a tweet about this, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it in the Discord or is it on the Twitter?
On the Twitter machine.
Okay, on the Twitter machine.
I sent it. Didn't I?
No, you didn't. All right, I have it on the Discord, though.
Oh, okay.
Pardon me.
No, wait. I thought I sent it on Twitter. Okay, hold on. Hold on, right here. Okay, now you should have it.
It's fine. I'm just going to save the picture from... Hold on. Bear with me.
No.
No, Ash had sent me something else about Shaquan Sugars and people. Oh, this is what you're talking. Okay, this is not what I was thinking of. All right, so hold on.
I'm so
Me and Ash are talking about 2 totally different things, so give me a moment. All right, so I need to do 2 things then.
I'm confused.
Yeah, you're confused because you confused the ever-living shit out of me. Share screen.
Eh.
All right, so we have to share screen 1 before we can share screen 2. So, in the Discord, you can see this. This is what happened after the promo thing that we saw tonight on NXT. 4 men, you got some dreads, you got a bandana, you got a guy with glasses. All right. So we see that. We then move to thing number 2, which is the Twitter machine. where people are saying that these are the 4 men in that faction, which is, I believe, from left to right, top to bottom. It is Shaquan Sugar, Cutler James. Cutler James is, I'm told by a reliable source, aka Astrid, that he is dating Adriana Rizzo. We have Jasper Troy, who looks like
I was
a
gonna say,
version
somebody
of
said
Bray
that
Wyatt.
it's not Troy, that it's Keanu Carver.
Okay, it could be him too. I don't care. It's not Bronco Nemo like I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, Man in Glasses is indeed our good friend, the Reader Man himself, Dion Lennox. Guessing at factions based on dreads and a bandana. Yeah. I'm a lot less excited for this faction now that it's not a new version of OTM. I was really hoping for that new OTM, but whatever. Like, cool. We've got a heel faction to go with our babyface mafia faction, to go with our heel faction that Sean Spears is starting. Yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck is this faction? It is a group of guys from the PC. If they call them, what was that? Retribution. I'll fucking die if they call this Retribution, because it feels so fucking Retribution. Poor Mustafa Ali. He was so excited to try to make that work. But I think an hour and 36 minutes is about as long as we can talk about this godforsaken, dreadful episode of NXT. I had no, dear God, no. Thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Let's see. How many people do we have on the... We have 5 people on this Twitch side. That means I need to find a raid. Where are we going to go tonight? Where are we going to go?
SDG, you can keep talking. I'll keep listening.
SCG, here's the thing. I don't want to keep talking. I want to be done talking. You know what? Let's go visit a post-show friend of ours, or was it a pre-show? Miss Thickums. She did a pre-show with us, didn't she? She's not a post-show. Yeah. She did a pre-show. Yeah, let's go ahead and join Miss Thickums as she's got her WWE 2K Tuesday Night Revolution, or Elevation. I forget what the name of the show is.
SCG, and I wanted to talk. The world is upside down. It's bizarre world.
I've been talking for the better part of an hour and 38 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, Brendan, thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, joining us right as we leave. But we also want to make sure that you all go to our local establishment on all the socials and do all the social things. There are some great shows on our local establishment, including the Mother Tucking Post Show, including 2/3 of the TNA Post Show every week with Brett and Astrid and Mark Talks Wrestling. We've got our Ring of Honor Post Show with Melball Collins, Kyle Sparks, and Auntie Collins on there. We've got Women's Championship of Women's Classic Wrestling, not Women's Championship Wrestling, every Monday night. We're almost done with the Mae Young Classic, so we're going to be moving on to something else, other than the Mae Young Classic 2. I've heard rumors about potentially doing the Women of Honor. That's just come up on the Honor Club, so that could be something.
Yeah, but we're doing
fun.
Season 2 first, though, before we jump in.
Mae Young Classic Season 2. So more Rhea Ripley talk on Season 2 of Women's Classic Wrestling. Auntie and Mel just want to talk about more about Rhea Ripley. That's what it is. Yeah. Until then, we'll see you all later. Goodbye.
I am in misery.